So this is the next video. I think I'm on video two? I don't remember. I think it's video two of trying to make an HTML game. Still not really a game. I'd say it's more graphics with letters at this point. But what I think happened last time is we had just the letter P's kind of come down on one screen, and I don't think it actually went anywhere or bounced yet. So what we've added at this point is a bouncing feature. So once the coordinates, so once the x coordinate, the left and right one, gets bigger than the width or equal to it, or it gets less than or equal to 0, you're going to actually flip, you're going to multiply, which is what this symbol is, and set it that variable equal at the same time. Oops, that's going to break the code. You're going to multiply whatever the speed of x is, which at the beginning it's 15. So if I get up above a width of 500, which is the size of my canvas or box on my screen, I'm going to flip the speed of the x. So instead of adding 15 to the x coordinate every time, I'm going to start subtracting it. So it's going to go the other way then, instead of going to the right. And the other thing that we add in is actually an enemy. There's lots of ways to represent things in games. Oftentimes it's players and enemies. So we created an enemy by pretty much duplicating or copying the same code that's up here, except for putting enemy in front of it. So that means that I actually have two sets of variables. I have regular x and y, then I have the same variables with enemy in front of it. If I remember correctly from what the video ended with that I watched, this is not the most efficient way to do this, where you just copy variables for everything. We're going to learn how to put this into something called objects in a programming language, so you don't have to have all of this duplicate code. Because if you think about any complicated game, you've got hundreds, thousands of enemies. If you're playing like a RPG or a real-time strategy game or anything like that. So to just keep creating new variables all the time would end up with pages and pages and pages of worthless stuff that you need to do because you have to have more than one enemy. So the next video, we're going to kind of work on this stuff from what I gathered and make it more efficient and less copied and duplicated. But otherwise, this creates a second letter, E, so E for enemy, P for player. And what we end up happening when we run all this is we have the P and the E bouncing around the screen, which I can get over here now. So if I refresh this, we'll see P's and E's running around the screen until it pretty much just looks like a solid block of P's and E's. So that's the progress in the game so far. We end up with bouncing letters going around the screen. Obviously, we'll be working on making the code more efficient in the next video. I don't know if there's anything else in that one that they're going to do besides making objects, reworking the same code. So we might end up with the same thing happening after the next video. It's just going to look a lot different in the code. Be a little bit more efficient. And how you know that it's efficient is if you can get the same result to happen, the same thing to happen with fewer lines of code. So right now I've got, I don't know if there's spaces in here and whatnot, but what is this, 26 to 51, like 25 lines of code to have some P's and E's bounce around the screen. I can guarantee you that if we do it a different way, we'll have fewer lines of code. It'll be easier to create more enemies with the same amount of code. Be more efficient. Okay, so that's my progress today. Still not really a game, but I do have some graphics going on in a web browser.